Major support for Out to Lunch Acadiana is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker, established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys in offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. Support also comes from Wyndham Garden Lafayette.
From Commander's Palace Restaurant in the Garden District in New Orleans, we're out to lunch with Professor of Finance and Director of the award-winning Berken Road Reports, Peter Ricchiuti. It's business, Acadiana style.
Hi, I'm Peter Ricchiuti. Welcome to Out to Lunch. Normally, we meet for lunch at Cafe Vermilionville or at Social. Today, we're changing things up a little. We've gone east on the I-10 for lunch. We're on Washington Avenue in the Garden District in New Orleans. We're at New Orleans' iconic restaurant, Commander's Palace. At first glance, New Orleans and Lafayette might not seem to have a lot in common. Lafayette is a small city with a mostly oil-based economy that's the economic and cultural capital of Acadiana. New Orleans is a bigger city with a diversified economy and a cultural legacy that includes the birthplace of jazz, Professor Longhair, statewide icons like the Saints, and international landmarks like Bourbon Street. What New Orleans and Lafayette have in common is that they're probably two of the most un-American cities in America. The two cities share an intangible spirit that prioritizes a love of life over most everything else, especially work and business. When we do share business interests, it's usually in one direction. If a company does well in Lafayette, they expand into the larger market of New Orleans. So it's interesting to note that two of New Orleans' best-known food and entertainment brands are reversing the trend and moving into the Lafayette market. I'm talking about the gourmet hot dog sensation Dat Dog and the unique combination of bowling, drinking, and Rockn Bowl that is Rockn Bowl. Rockn Bowl is on to its second generation of family owners. Today, the company is increasingly guided by Johnny Blancher, who is the son of Rockn Bowl founder John Blancher. Johnny, welcome to Out to Lunch.
Thank you. Great to be here.
I've been looking forward to having you on for a long time now.
Thank you.
Now, Dat Dog is guided by both the business sense and the charismatic personality of its co-founder, Constantine Georges. Constantine, welcome to Out to Lunch.
Oh, pleasure to be here.
Both of you guys have decided that even though Lafayette is probably at the lowest economic ebb it's seen for a couple of decades, this is a good time to expand from New Orleans into the Lafayette market. So let me start by asking you the same question. How did you reach this decision? Was it a gut feeling? Have you done market research? What led you both to decide to expand into Lafayette? Johnny, I'll start with you.
Well, I have roots there, lots of family, and back and forth there for many years. Katrina hits, and of course, we made sure to not evacuate to a dry county, as so many people did.
That's right.
So what is the wettest town as close as possible to New Orleans that would have been safe for? It would be Lafayette. We had family, and there was beer and wine.
And then why did you wait till now to pull this?
That's where the market research came in.
Okay.
So we studied a lot of different sites. We had deals fall through. I mean, along the way, we had properties that we went ahead and met the asking price, and then the owner backs out. I mean, it just
so
crazy
it was not
stuff.
easy.
Yeah, it was not easy. They were just, but.
Well, Constantine, what about you?
Here
you've expanded. You have quite a few stores in the New Orleans area. Why Lafayette?
Well, I think that I'm going to have to say fate must be the reason because it's not like with Dat Dog, we never really had at least up until recently, a business plan on how we were going to expand, if we were going to expand, et cetera. But people...
It looks like you have a business plan.
Well,
that's great.
It's incredible that people think that. But we were always being asked by people that were from Lafayette if we would open one up there. We get that in a lot of cities, believe it or not. They go, oh, you should open one. Baton Rouge, you should open one. And to be frank, I went to Baton Rouge several times. I mean, dozens of times. And I still really didn't find anything that I felt at the time to be suitable for us. And then I just, my COO, Bill, said, let's just go look at Lafayette. So we went to Lafayette. And I'd only been there once. As I used to be a federal prosecutor, and long time ago. But
I was
won't
gonna
say
say
the,
you have a very
I won't
weird
say I won't
career
say
path,
I won't say the
Constantine. I just
case in
wanna-
case some of the defendants are still rooming around.
We have them on the
there.
show, which is oddly enough.
That's, you know, but
They're up next.
they showed me probably about 6 or 7 properties, starting with downtown and going out into the suburbs, etc. And I took one look at this building, and I just loved it. And the price was reasonable for the building. Of course, it's an enormous building. It's like 15,000 square feet.
Wow.
You know, to sell hot
Geez, your
dogs.
first store was like 400 square feet, wasn't it?
475 to be precise. But there was something about that building I loved, and I wish my contractor had told me ahead of time how much it was going to cost to renovate. However, when I looked around, we were on the edge of town. There was a really cool coffee shop across the street, Rev,
Yep.
which really inspired me to look more carefully into the area. And of course, when we opened up on Ferret Street, and at the time where we were in Ferret was a nice central part of town, but really had been abandoned for the most part, other than some good entrepreneurs like the Cure.
Well, actually, that's what I want to ask both of you. Is the street you're on? It needs work. Do you think you guys can be like the anchors that the rest of it builds on?
Sure, and I got to be honest with all the, quote unquote market research that I was doing. I got to say there was a lot of faith involved in what we've done, and so I have noticed that Dat Dog, we do share some cultural similarities, but the street itself, I'm bullish on. I think we're going to be two anchors. We're actually at the two opposite ends of that
you're
strip.
at what address are you?
We're at 201 Jefferson, so
okay.
we're right at the gateway.
Right. And you're all the way at the
Right,
and I'm at
right
the
before the
opposite.
tracks.
Yeah.
right where the tracks are. Right.
We're on
here.
the edge,
Grand
yeah.
Standsaw.
And there's a beautiful sign that goes over the street there where Dat Dog will be. It's really a good little street entrance into downtown. And then there's the back door entrance off of Johnston, which is Jefferson and Lee, which is where we are at 905 Jefferson. So, the two ends, so you're talking about the 200 block down to the 900 block, and I just see a lot of potential for a tremendous amount of traffic. I think that families will start to come back downtown once we're there and once they experience what we do. The Rockn Bowl is not something you just type up and say, hey, this is what it is. It takes coming in to really explain the diversity of what's going on and how many fun things you can do.
And help me, Johnny, because I've been in that bank. Let's see. I know where the safe is, for instance.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do to this thing?
Part.
Yes.
Please.
You're taking the first 2 floors, is it?
Yes. So we're going to take the first 2 floors. We're going to add on to the first, but the addition is going to be at the same height as the second floor, which will allow the old office suites on the second floor to look out over the live music and the bowling. So we're going to be actually, bigger than we are in New Orleans. As far as the actual square footage, we're going to reach about 35,000 square feet. We're going to have a ballroom behind those suites.
Whoa. Well, there's
we'll
people
have
that
a
know how to
restaurant
dance, so this
there.
will work out.
Yeah, I think that I just think it's going to be a very unique venue. It's going to be different than what we're doing in New Orleans, but there's a hell of a lot more similarities than there are differences. The old vaults, we're going to do dining in the old vaults. It's going to be, it's really going to be fun.
Now, Constantine, you're also, I don't know if these are open yet. Do you have Baton Rouge and Hattiesburg?
No, we have. We just have 4 in the New Orleans
Okay.
area. We have some land in Hattiesburg that we're planning to open up.
So this is officially your real
This will
first
be
step
our,
out.
our first step outside of the New Orleans
Now,
area.
I've got to ask you, Constantine. My kids fell in love with Dat Dog way before me. What made you think that was going to be a big hit? We have fine cuisine here. We have a lot of seafood. There's a bunch of high-end hamburger places. Why hot dogs?
Well, that's a tough question to answer, except that I'll just tell you how I feel about it and how I went about it. My friend who brought the idea of selling hot dogs here. It was a former high school football player, was my original partner, and I hadn't thought about it. You know, I just retired a few years earlier from the Department of Justice, and
you were, by the way, is it assistant U.S. attorney? Was
yes.
It? That is pretty wild. This is very different.
It's,
you know, I've
in
seen
so
people,
many ways.
Yes, I've seen second
I can't
careers.
just issue
but
a
this one
warrant against someone right now. You know,
Put the hot dog down.
Yeah, but the reason I decided to go forward with it is because I hadn't eaten a hot dog in years. I mean, you know, maybe 20 years. Who knows? I mean, been a long time. So I didn't know if people still ate hot dogs that much other than at a picnic. But so I would go around and I would ask people if people ate hot dogs. And if there were 4 people sitting at a table, at least 2 of them would have a big smile on their face. Some of them would be furtive. Some of them would be unabashed smiles. And I realized that they were very happy just thinking about a hot dog. And that's why our hot dog is in the shape of a smile. And
I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah, well, you have to look sometimes, Peter.
Okay, this,
but
they do not serve them at Commanders, otherwise we would show that.
But again, we really didn't know when we opened up who would show up and how many people would show up. And my partner initially did not want to hire anybody. He said, how many people do you think will show up? And I said, well, I'm not sure. How many do you think? He goes, well, do you think 50 will come in a day? Because if it's 50, I can handle it. I said, well, okay, but I don't know when you're planning to go to the bathroom or whatever, and or make a bank deposit.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, I started getting involved. Well, it turned out that there was a line out the door. It was a very small place.
Yeah.
And it never ended. At first, it was friends and people anxious for us to open, but then there were just more and more people finding out about it and coming in. And it was a fun place. It was small. There was a lot of energy in that little small space. And when we went, but it was too small for us, quite frankly, to really operate. We had refrigerators in homes that we were using. We were physically taking our cars and going to pick up things at the restaurant depot because we didn't want to pay the extra amount for the transportation. So, but finally, we decided we had to get a bigger place, and the gas station across the street opened up, and that was a big challenge because you go from 475 square feet to 2,500 square feet plus all the outdoor space.
Right.
And so can you keep the same feel? And luckily we were able to,
Well, I'm hoping you still have that Midas touch because Ferret Street's been the greatest comeback since Lazarus, So you bought low there.
I want to say something about that street, Jefferson Street in Lafayette. I mean, when I took a look at it, it was love at first sight. That's a great street. It's something that's been around a long time. They build things really well in many of those buildings, but the actual look of the street is a classic look of a really old inner city commercial district. Yeah. And so all it was lacking is just a little bit of fresh blood. My building at one point was a car dealership and a funeral home at the same time.
Oh wow!
So
that is you never see mergers like that.
Yeah, it was. So it's been a lot of things over the years.
And the Times of Acadiana, right? Wasn't it?
They had the newspaper place was there, and so it's been around a long time and seen a lot of things. And now it's going to be a hot dog. It won't be just a hot dog.
I gotta agree. I think it's just a fantastic street, and the streetscape is great. And there's brick on the sidewalks, and there's great street lights, and it has that classic feel of downtown.
And they have those beautiful cypress trees they planted.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really...
Azalea Trail is back in place. They've got the azalea beds. Right now, they're blooming, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
I mean, I'm an urban...
Me too.
Type person, general, but
right.
even though I have a farm in Greece,
that's right,
and make olive oil.
Yes, how is the olive oil business going?
Well, it was a rough crop this year actually, so the prices are going up.
And that's why you need to make more money on hot dogs.
Yeah, but I guess we can't speak highly enough about how interesting that street looks. There's no street like that in Baton Rouge. There are obviously streets like that in New Orleans,
right.
But this is part of Americana, even though it's Cajun Americana, that is historic.
You're listening to Out to Lunch. I'm Peter Ricchiuti. I'm in New Orleans today at Commander's Palace talking with two businessmen who are expanding into Lafayette. Johnny Blancher from Rockn Bowl and Constantine Georges from Dat Dog. Constantine, what are your dates of opening? Do you know yet? Or
Oh, that's the
well, maybe the year.
the year would be good. I think I can narrow it down to this year. I was hoping to be open by the festival international that's coming on in the end of April,
Right.
but it's going to be close. So sometime by the end of the spring, we should be open at some point.
Johnny, do you know?
Yeah, we have the most arbitrary goal ever. I just absolutely just set one, and it's November 1st. And then I got to figure out how we're going to fill in the gaps in between. But I mean, that's kind of how we've always operated, and it seems to always work out. I have a countdown clock. I mean, I guess it's right here on my phone. I guess
Really?
we could
'Cause
figure out.
At your restaurant here, you've got a countdown clock till opening day.
Yes, we do the countdown clock to opening day, and now I found one. There's an app, so I don't have to put it on the wall.
Oh, great.
And it's 225 days, 47 minutes, and 45 seconds
Terrific.
till we, open. And I have no idea how we're going to get there.
Well, my clock would explode if I had to depend on that to when we're going to get open. Having opened 3 of these, are actually 4 in New Orleans already.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 actually. Now
I gotta
that I
give you
think about it,
credit
because
when
we
you
opened
do
Ferret
open-
twice.
When you do open a new one, I look at it and I think, oh yeah, this is where they should have put it. Like Frenchman and all that. It's a
Well, I feel comfortable. I mean, again, I'm not a native person from Lafayette, and although I had a lot of friends growing up in college that are from Lafayette and the surrounding area. I'm friends with Zachary Richard,
Oh, yeah.
the musician. He's a good friend of mine. CeCe Adcock, I know as well.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I've
Johnny
had
will be bringing them into the club.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Best.
So, Lafayette has great cuisine. So it's rather, I have to say, it's a bit intimidating to try to open up a restaurant in Lafayette and have people accept it.
I've never been anywhere where I've been welcomed with open arms the way I've been in Lafayette. I mean, they have been all smiles, energetic. They're in love with the fact that we're coming there, wanting to help. I've had, it's just been unbelievable. So I can't say enough about the people. Can't say enough. Even the big, I guess always the elephant in the room, the government. Been great.
Now, Constantine, Johnny, this is the part of the show we call your brother-in-law. You're wrapping up a long day at work. When your phone rings, it's your brother-in-law. He usually only calls when he's got a hot tip at the track, which he'll tell you if you want to put up the money for the bet and really split the winnings with him. But this time, the conversation's a little different. Johnny, your brother-in-law has a great idea for your Lafayette Rockn Bowl. It's based on the idea that Thursday nights at Rockn Bowl in New Orleans are Zydeco night, given that the new location is in the heart of Zydeco country. Your brother-in-law's idea is that Thursday night in Lafayette should be thrash metal night. As you know, thrash metal is his favorite. He's prepared to quit his job as the barback at Tropical Island on Bourbon Street and move to Lafayette to run the place on Thursdays. He'll get tattoo artists to set up, all kinds of merch people. It'll be like Comic-Con every week, and you'll make a fortune, and your brother-in-law only wants like 50% of the night's take. What do you say, Ian?
Do I get a free tattoo?
I
Because I don't have one yet.
That would be. I'm surprised you got through baseball without a tattoo. That's how they.
No, I went with the long sideburns back then instead of the
That mutton
tattoo.
chop look?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah, that was good.
So you want to change the theme one night a week?
change the
do you
theme.
Do you have themes?
So we do. I mean, currently we operate with swing every Wednesday. We also do swing classes on Monday nights. So swing on Wednesday to practice it from the Monday night. Then we do Zydeco, like you said,
Yeah.
every single Thursday. And actually, that's kind of where the Lafayette thing just kept making more and more sense, is that there are a ton of people who drive in every Thursday to Rockn Bowl just to Zydeco dance when they can Zydeco dance every day of the week in Lafayette, yet they still make the trek, and so that's great. And then Friday, it could be anything from thrash metal to a Snooks Eaglin tribute.
I don't know if you know this, but we actually have, because it's so big, I'm like, what are we going to do with this back space?
Right.
So we're making a music venue out of the back space, so which
that's
will have a
great.
mezzanine overlooking the stage. Well, actually, we're calling it a platform, and it's going to be called the platform. But what's interesting is that when I heard about Rockn Bowl coming, I said, this is perfect, because this is going to become, I don't want to say it's going to become like the new
Right.
Frenchman Street, but still, you critical mass builds when you have people
yeah.
doing the same thing. And,
It's
and,
like a
and-
tipping point, right?
And,
When
and,
it starts to-
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't become more of a touristed venue. Because of the potential for the music scene, there are other clubs there as well, and so I think it's a good fit for all of us.
Well, Constantine, I'm going to give you your question, too.
Oh,
your,
boy.
your brother-in-law has been dating a girl from Lafayette for years, and the one thing he knows for sure is that the key to your success in Acadiana is one word, boudin. People take boudin as seriously as religion, so you have to serve boudin dogs. The thing is, though, everybody in Acadiana has their favorite boudin place. So here's the kicker. You need dogs made from every boudin in Acadiana, Best Stop, Billy's, Johnson's, T-Boys, you name it, and we've got it. Your brother-in-law is prepared to quit his job driving for Uber and head up your boudin dogs department, and you're going to be shocked when you see how successful this is. What do you say? Are you hiring your brother as the VP of boudin dogs?
Well, he might need a job anyway, so I'd be happy to help him out if he's helping out my sister. Let's put it that way.
Have you thought of that
But
on the menu?
we actually have thought about boudin a lot, and we actually have an executive chef who's very good at charcuterie products, and the biggest challenge with boudin is the rice, and how it's how do you grill it on the grill without it exploding right off the bat. So, but other than that, it's certainly something that we're actually looking into.
Is it different start? You're not, I guess in the sense you're not starting out with a blank slate over there. You've got a lot of people who have been to your places here. What is the marketing strategy going to be given that?
Well, that's a great question, because I think it. We certainly have a lot of people in the Lafayette community that have already been to the Rockn Bowl in New Orleans, and I think that's going to help a lot. Any help we're given from the local media, which has already had a great response, we're certainly grateful for. But this one is a little different because, here the phone rings in New Orleans, and it's people that have companies and they want to do a party and come to Rockn Bowl to bring for their birthdays or their bar mitzvahs, or you name it. But in Lafayette, I think they have a different concept. They see us as just a live music venue. You go bowl, you go to the live music. Whereas we're much more than that. Really we're party driven. So it's going to take an effort for us to get out in the community, actually meet business owners and the decision makers, and convince them that the best place for them to bring their customers and their families and their employees is to Rockn Bowl.
And Constantine, same question. You must have a lot of people in Lafayette that have experienced Dat Dog over here. How do you play that up?
Well, I'm too old to be an expert on social media, but I do realize that that's what it works a lot, and we do have people that in-house that handle our social media. We have the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram. I'm saying all these things. I don't know what they mean, but that does help reach out to the customer base. I mean, the most important thing at the end of the day is going to be the quality of what you produce, and people will find you wherever you are if you give them a product that they actually want. So we're hoping that the word, it won't take long to get the word out that we're there, but then it's up to us to show them that it's worth coming back again. And so I think they'll be pleasantly pleased, but again, I'm counting on faith on this.
Okay. Faith is part of your marketing plans. This is so great. Constantine, Johnny, I started out by saying that the link between Lafayette and New Orleans is an intangible love of life. One of the other similarities is that both cities pride themselves on being real. If you're someone who didn't grow up in Lafayette, one of the highest compliments you can be paid is to be regarded as a local, exactly the same as it is in New Orleans. I wish you New Orleanians a speedy ascension to local status in Lafayette. Best of luck to both of you on your expansions. We look forward to following your progress, and thank you both for taking the time to join me today and out to lunch.
Oh, thank you too.
It's been fun being here.
Good guys. My guests on Out to Lunch today have been Johnny Blancher from the new Rockn Bowl and Constantine Georges from the new Dat Dog, both in downtown Lafayette. You can find out more about Constantine's restaurant and Johnny's club by following the links on our websites. It's Acadiana.com and krvs.org. Our show is recorded live over lunch, a few miles east of our usual spot in Lafayette at Commander's Palace in New Orleans. Commander's Palace serves lunch Monday through Friday, jazz brunch on Saturday and Sunday, with live music and dinner 7 nights a week. The producer of our show is Grant Morris. Our technical producer is Eric Merle. Our theme song, Encore Monsieur Nice Guy, is written by Mitch Foreman and performed by Mitch Foreman and Andre Michaud. Our Acadiana business consultants are Pete Prados from Innovate Acadiana, Zach Barker from The Opportunity Machine, and Dr. Blake Escaday. If you want to know what we look like, you can find photos from the show on our website and Facebook page. These photos were taken today by Alison Moon. You can get the show as a podcast, you can listen to past shows, you can keep up with us on all kinds of social media by going to our websites, itsacadiana.com and krvs.org. Support for Out to Lunch Acadiana comes from Wyndham Garden Lafayette, located off Pinhook near Calais Saloon. Wyndham Garden Lafayette is pet and family friendly with free parking, free Wi-Fi, and a free shuttle with a 3-mile radius that includes the airport and downtown restaurants. Additional support comes from ABiz Magazine and AcadianaBusiness.com, the essential information source for business decision makers throughout the one Acadiana region. Out to Lunch is a production of I&O Broadcasting for itsacadiana.com and KRVS 88.7 FM. I'm Peter Ricchiuti. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to meeting you again next week around the lunch table back in Lafayette for more business Acadiana style on Out to Lunch.
Major support for Out to Lunch Acadiana is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker. Established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys and offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. Support also comes from Wyndham Garden Lafayette,